Our radioactive abyss. My name is Jeremiah. I am a Torah observant Yehudim, follower of Yahweh and Yeshua, and this is.
Yeah, I'm John. I've been a conspiracy theorist for like 10 years or so. I started on the Georgia Guidestone some years ago, and I found my way all the way from government corruption to religious corruption, all the way into flat Earth, man. And here I am. Anyway, we're here starting our channel. The first video, we're going to talk a little bit about the dollar bill and the birth certificate. We got lots more to come, but this is just a start off. So here we are.
So we're opening up with the Mystery of Babylon, and if you don't know, that's something biblical, and there's a vast majority of information to cover on it, the subject. Obviously, if you know about it, you do know that there's a vast majority of information. Okay, so with the infamous dollar bill, I'm sure there's some of you out there who know, but for those of you who don't, there is this Great Seal that was created, and on the opposite end of the Great Seal is this eagle. And these are very, very powerful symbols used by the occult in the Mystery of Babylon. So, first thing to get into on the symbolism of the bill is Annuit Coeptus Novus Ordo Seclorum. Oddly enough, we have an un-American language and an un-American symbol on our so-called American bill. Now, Annuit Coeptus Novus Ordo Seclorum means we favor the undertaking to create a new world of the ages, or a new world order.
Right.
It's pretty much a oath that was taken by the fallen angels to create a new world order and pretty much destroy humanity at any cost possible. The 13 most powerful, richest bloodlines in the world, most people know them as to be the Illuminati, have their symbol littered across everything in entertainment and, of course, the dollar bill. For instance, there's 13 references to the number 13 on the dollar bill. There are 13 rows in the pyramid. There's 13 stars and 13 leaves. There's 13 berries around Washington on the front, who is obviously infamously around the Omega sign here, which means the end. Another Greek symbol, such as the Greek numericals MDC, CLX, XVI under the bottom row of the pyramid, which is 1000 is M, 600 being...
I believe it's 1776, right?
Yes.
It is Roman numeral 1776.
It breaks down to the Roman numerals of 1776 when it's all added, but when you break it down in 3 and 3 and 3, it's 660 and 6, or 1600, 660, 666, which adds to 1776. It's also the same year the American Illuminati was founded, as when Adam Weishaupt was disbanded from the Bavarian government for trying to infiltrate them. The government leaders found out that his aims were luciferic and kicked him out and all of his followers. So he moved over here to America, and since then has gone on to conquer other governments worldwide. The second thing that we're going to cover and get into is the birth certificate. This isn't mine, but it's my son's birth certificate. Something you'll notice on these birth certificates of ours is these 5-pointed pentagram symbols. You'll notice the fleur-de-lis symbol that they use, which is 3 sixes. It's a symbol for the triple goddess. And inside this 5-pointed pentagram, you see this like winged, horned being above a body of water. Now this breaks down to a lot of the as above, so below symbolism, which ties into Freemasonry. when you put in the as above, so below symbol across and copied around the pyramid on the dollar bill, it actually spells out Mason to every point that it hits. We will get into more of this in later videos, but that's where we're going to start now. Now, the Freemasons and other occult societies use this as above, so below symbol in lots of their symbolism on things like the Washington Monument, for instance, which is a obelisk, or in biblical terms known as a pillar of jealousy. And they put it in front of bodies of water as a reflection of the as above, so below. It all ties into the mystery of Babylon and the fallen angels' agenda. Now, the Freemason symbol, as you know, is this symbol. Or if you do it with your hands, it's this, meaning the as above and so below. There are very many companies and buildings and monuments and stuff that have this thing on them. 33rd degree is the highest rank of the occult, and it has a G in the center, which could be mean as God or Gnosticism, but we all know that their aims are satanic.
Right. It's everywhere, really. It's even here in our own town, man.
If I've been a traveling contractor before, and I've noticed that almost every single town I've traveled throughout the U.S., whether big or small, has the Freemason symbols when you're coming into town, basically demonstrating that they own the town and they own everything in there. Why else would you see their symbols prominently on signs when you enter a town? Typically see them when you're coming in from a highway or any type of small road or rural road that comes into the town. So there are 33 feathers on the left wing, if you count them, and 32 feathers on the right wing, if you count them, on the eagle, and meaning that 33 is the highest degree reached here in America, and in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 32 is the highest degree.
Learn something new every day. I didn't know that.
So, getting back to the number 13, yes, there are exactly 13 references to the number 13. 13 rows in the pyramid, 13 letters in Anuit Coeptus, 13 stars, 13 stripes, 13 arrows, 13 leaves on the eagle, the 13 berries around Washington on the front here and on the sides. And there's 13 letters in God We Trust, if you add 1 as one more number.
Wow.
So 13 to 13. They're extremely littered with this symbolism. Admiralty law, or as I like to refer to it as Admiralty law enslavement, is something that is bestowed upon us every time we are born. If you notice on your ID, your driver's license, your social security number, your birth certificate, your name is spelled out in full capital letters. Now, I know that myself, and I'm sure John doesn't, and I'm sure everyone you know doesn't write their name in full capital letters when they write their name. The reason this is done is because it's a part of a system in which we are property of a government, and the disputes and stuff we have inside a court system Admiralty law was basically created for goods traveling across water. But in here, we're not goods on a ship, we're goods on land, pretty much. And whenever there's a dispute between goods, they have to cross a section of doorways opening up into a court system. And the court system is the device used to dispute what is going on between the properties of goods, as in you and I. I could show you that, for instance, our so-called 911 boys in blue, who are supposed to be protectors of us, are really only protecting the banks.
Yeah.
Now, yes, there are good cops out there and stuff, and they try and do their best, but the main objective of them is to protect the money, because if they didn't protect the money, then their entire system would be collapsed. For instance, every single bank robbery, the cost of the actual people protecting the bank has been more than the cost of the actual money being robbed. So there is really no economic interest there. They're really just protecting the banks.
Basically, they're not here to protect and serve at all. Their job is just to protect the bigger picture. Their job is to protect the bigger picture and make sure that make sure that the banks are protected. Because if we shut down the banks, man, they control the money, they control the food, they control everything. So I mean, and that's their main objective, and that's why that's why the Federal Reserve is actually the probably one of the biggest conspiracy things that I've come across. I mean, everybody thinks that your money comes from the United States Treasury, but that's not true at all. It actually comes from the Federal Reserve, and that's why presidents like JFK and influential people like Martin Luther King have been assassinated, because they tried to shut down the Federal Reserve, and that's their main objective, and that's their main objective, is to protect the money.
See, and this money we use, produced by the Federal Reserve, which actually is a company that has no reins by the American government. They're not an American company. They're not affiliated with the government whatsoever. They print money from nothingness to create more debt. The more money we spend, the more money we create. And they use this tactic to crash economies. Once they have crashed the economy, when they deem right, they buy up everything, giving themselves more control. We've seen this in history time and time again. I know that living in a cashless society is, trading and bartering is not something that everyone in everyday society would think about as a working system, because all we've known is cash society. But it is plausible. But it will never happen with the powers that be. I don't know. I think we're at a good close here, John.
All right. That concludes part 1, and we'll be right back with the part 2, guys.